right, live now, live streaming. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We are now live with Trading Titans market analysis for November 22nd, Friday, November 22nd. Amazing how this just is zooming by. I'm excited. I'm excited because wow, I've been tracking this whole operation that we're currently been going through for the last 4 years. I've been tracking this operation since 2008, and so seeing today everything come to fruition is actually quite gratifying. Um, a lot of the things that have occurred over the last few years have been quite horrible, and we kept on us conspiracy theorists. We kept on saying things like, "Oh, I wish I was wrong about this," and sure enough, it would happen. And of course, we are saddened by all of the terrible things that occurred. Well, I can tell you, there's good news because a lot of the good things that we've said are going to happen are now happening, and so we have the opportunity to take advantage of this wealth transfer. And this is really not much different from any other wealth transfer. There's an entry point and an exit point. And so the purpose of these market analyses is to help people identify those opportunities and be able to together as a community get out of the bubble before it pops. And then what we'll do is it will be transferring into other assets after that point. Right now, we're catching emerging markets. That's what they're called. Emerging markets. In every economic collapse that has ever occurred, there are emerging markets. And the money's never lost. That's the other thing. A lot of people think that, oh, the 1929, the stock market crashed and people lost a lot of money. Well, yeah, some people lost a lot of money, but the money wasn't lost. It simply got transferred to another form, to another location, to another deposit, to another asset, to another instrument. And there are so many instruments and assets available to us today that allow for us to take advantage of this wealth transfer and execute it properly. We can maintain that wealth. I can tell you right now, this bubble that we're talking about, that I've been talking about for a few years now, this bubble will pop. And it will be very similar to the dot-com bubble that popped and the billions of dollars that were lost. In fact, it's expected that a lot of the cryptocurrencies that I'm talking about today are going to expand and triple, quadruple. Even some cases, there are some that I believe will 10x. But they're also at the other side of that bubble going to drop 90% of their value. And so our role with this market analysis, and all of them, is to identify the opportunities to buy and together find that time where it's best to sell. And yeah, if we can do that, then we can start reinvesting those gains into emerging markets. This is one emerging market, but this is the bubble that's leading the next phase of development in AI, quantum computing, digital currencies, nanotechnology, synthetic biology. These main industries that are emerging today are going to be what we take advantage of. Some of the things we might not even agree with. I can think specifically of some things in nanotechnology, or sorry, in synthetic biology. I've got no interest in seeing occur. But it's good to know the trends because that way you can position your wealth in the direction that the trends are going. And by doing so, you can take advantage of economic crises, no different than the elite. You're simply joining the smart money through this process. So, without further ado, thank you very much again for joining. If you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about as I'm going through this, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to meet with you individually and make sure that you're set up however it is that you need to be set up best. If you've never even signed up for an exchange yet, that's perfect. My role in all of this is to help the people who've never done this before do this for the first time so that they can position themselves for this great reset and keep everything they earn as well. Because the last thing you want is to make all kinds of money and then the government take it all away from you. So I can show you all of that good stuff. Let's start the chart analysis. Now I'm going to just adjust this a little bit so that there we now I can see everything. Oh, and I can see I also have some alignment issues to deal with here. You know what? I'm just going to grab that. There we go. I don't like it when that line is there because it's like then my hand can't point to the screen properly. All right, let's go. This is a silver chart. Now I've got a few lines on here, obviously from before. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of the ones that are old. Now we've got two trend lines in particular that we're looking at. There's this one right here, this trend line here. That's the most recent aggressive trend line on silver prices. Right
Paul,
now. Oh, yes.
can you make your screen big so we just see you, please?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bet. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Because I've got two dashboards here. I've got our meeting and then I've got my camera. And my camera is what I'm focusing on. So thank you for reminding me about that. So this long trend line right here, this is the aggressive trend that occurred after the election. All right, the election was actually, I think the election was, let's bring my mouse over here. Yeah, election was right in here, right there. So after the election, major acceleration of the devaluing silver. Now again, this is all manipulation. Never look at this as being truthful of the value. It's simply the market's report, and the market is constantly being manipulated. Now, I believe that right now we've got a little bit of a coming back here. This is just a retracement after this impulse here. This retracement has made it where we're the way that this is forming. If you take a look at how this low right here has formed a fair bit lower than this low here. This is indicative that we are continuing a trend downwards. Now, this is technical analysis. Don't try to overwhelm yourself too much with this stuff, but I'm just showing you what we can expect over the next little while. This little retracement that we have, where it bounced back off of this here, this is what we call a consolidation, or a pivot zone rather. So this line here, having deeply retraced beyond that, this little retracement here is probably just reaccumulating a little bit of volume of cells for it to continue downwards. I do expect, and this was something I was really looking at, I don't know, probably about 90 minutes yesterday, looking at previous wealth cycles. This is something that you are going to want to learn how to do, is pattern recognition in this. So with the pattern recognition, I'm quite certain that what's going to occur over the next little while is, if we go back to, here's 2020. This was at the beginning of 2020 when everybody got scared about COVID. And so silver and gold both dropped quite a bit. Well, this point here is actually $11.91 US. Right now, the price is at $31. So if you bought here, you did very well. And many of my friends actually bought in this area here because I knew it was happening, and I let everybody know, hey, you're going to want to get some precious metals. So they've done very well over the past 4 years. But as we can see, this area here, there's a lot of support. So this one, there's all of this here, there's all of this. This has been a major line of support for a long time, for almost the whole 4 years. There was a little bit dip here, but that was good old Biden that through mid 2022, when he was not when he wasn't helping out the soldiers and vacated Afghanistan and left the soldiers there to, and a lot of equipment as well. There was a loss of faith in the U.S. dollar, or sorry, a loss of faith in the economics of gold and silver for a while. And this is because he was so terrible. Now, as time has gone on, it has regained a lot of strength. In fact, this line right here, this 35.2, that's the all-time high. We almost got there. Now, as a result, if we zoom in now, we can see that this, having come down so much lower than here, we're likely headed towards this level next. This is $26 and yeah, $26.10. That's what we can expect this to drop to here in the next little while. And I expect this to occur by the end of the year. So if you've been thinking about buying silver, you might hold off just a little while longer. The faith in the US dollar has gone up since Trump's election, and it continues to go up. And so I believe that we'll see a continued drop in silver as the demand for it drops. Now, over this next 6 months, I believe it could even go down to this level here, because this is where that shelf was for the last 4 years. Yeah, this little dip down here. But most of the time it stayed above this red line. And so as a result, I expect us to come back and test this before we end up heading further upwards after the dollar collapses. So if you've been thinking about getting silver, you might hold off. If you've been thinking about selling, you might just go ahead and do that, because when you rebuy down here, I mean, if you think about it, if it goes down to $21 and you sell now with the intent of buying again when it's at that price, you could increase the amount of holdings you have by 27%. That's significant, because now that 27% extra holdings that you have are going to appreciate these gains as it comes back to the all-time high for a 59% return. Very, very good on metals. Now, again, this price point at 22, that's speculation on my part. I'm saying that this is very, very, very plausible. Probability-wise, it's probably going to be here. So even if you sell now and buy here, you're still appreciating an increase of 14%. At which point, coming back up to the top, you get 33%. So these are the two scenarios. It's either going to come down to this level here, 26-ish, or it'll come down to 22. Either way, now's the time to be buying while it's going down. Dollar cost average your way. Next, gold. Gold has also seen that decrease. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we get a little bit more detail. So this here we have now, yeah, so this gold here is actually a very nice rally coming back from this drop after Trump was elected. It's a very nice rally. However, I believe this will be about it. Again, the faith in the dollar is going up, and we're going to see that here in the next couple of charts. So as the faith is going up in the dollar, gold usually goes down. We've had this nice retracement simply because that's a wonderful spot for big institutions. Big institutions, they would have been selling already in here because they already knew that Trump was going to win. Like me, knew that Trump was going to win by a landslide. And so then they started selling in this area before the election. Here, after the election, the price continued to drop. And it's here where the institutions would have repurchased and driving the price back up to this point here. And even just this, like, it doesn't look like much in the big scheme of things, but when you take a look at over the 7 days how it made 6%, that's a significant amount. If the markets move 7% in 1 day, they got to shut things down. So gold, having come back up from that point, the institutions have made an extra 6% off of this entire last month. Well, they do plan on selling because they are wanting to put their money into things like AI, quantum computing. They're embracing the digital age. They're going into real world assets. They're diversifying into nanotechnology and synthetic biology. And so this extra 6% was a bonus for them. Now we can likely expect this price to continue to drop. That's gold. And the reason why I say that is because of Trump's election, there's a renewed faith in fiat currencies. We can even see it reflected in the Canadian markets. And I'm going to do that one second. Let's start with the US 30. So the US 30, we're going to go back to a daily chart here. You can see that it continues to climb. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Index. In the worst economy we've had in the last 4 years, it has done very well. Here's where it fell down in 2020. This was mid-February, where the stock market crashed because of all the fear around COVID, and it dropped to 30 some percent in a matter of a month. Well, this renewed hope in the dollar is something that's likely going to continue over the next 6 months or so. And I say that because big tech companies are now being a part of this index. Huge tech companies, and we are even going to cover a couple of them here. But this renewed faith in the dollar is what is allowing this drop in gold to occur. So this all-time high, gold has never been this high before. $2,700 US, almost $2,800, it's $2,790. $2,800 US, never been that high. So the faith in the currency was going down, especially during Biden's, especially overall during Biden's reign, so to speak. Look how much it came from here, right there, all the way up to here. That's actually quite amazing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead because I had friends purchasing just before the crash. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark this off. Let's go to the weekly chart so we can zoom out a little bit further. All right. Here's the crash right here, and just the weeks prior is when when I was going to my friends and family after the virus, the news of the virus had sufficiently spread around the world for a couple of months. This is when I was telling people, go ahead and buy some gold. And right now they are up 67% across these 4 years. Again, it was because the loss of faith in the dollar, gold went up. Well, now the faith in the dollar has been returned. And so as a result, I expect this chart to continue to go up for a while, and gold and silver are probably going to go down for a little while. And that's just the way things go. That's how how the market naturally moves. Now, the US 30, let's go zoom back in again. Now, the US 30 is, it came back down to this point here this last week, and has been moving back up since Tuesday. So Tuesday it came down and just about touched the top of this pivot point, really just tested this trend line, this long-term trend line here. It's retested that and is now it's now retracing, going up. Now I expect this to form new highs as we continue to go forward. Next, TSX, this is the Toronto Stock Exchange, forming brand new highs literally as we speak. I'm going to zoom into the 15-minute chart so you can see. Here in the last, just since 7:45 yesterday, it has been creating new highs constantly. In fact, it's up almost 1.5%. So this all-time high has now been repositioned, now forming an all-time high at $25,402. We can expect this to continue as well. The Canadian currency does follow a lot of the same sentiment that the United States currency has. So this all-time high, though, we have to consider that this movement now doesn't have a whole lot of support. So I do expect there to be a little bit of a retracement, possibly just to come back to this point here. That point will likely become the next shelf that allows for higher highs to continue. Now here, we may continue going higher for a little while. Like I say, right now it's forming new highs as we speak. So as this continues, the likelihood of it bouncing off of this long trend line here is very good. So once it reaches that, we'll likely have that retracement and coming back to this point here. This is simply the reason I'm sharing this with you is so that you can see the shape of things to come as they show up and what we can expect, again, based off the pattern recognition that we follow for all of the history that we have data for. So that's Canadian markets. Let's move into the cryptos here. This is the crypto 30. So similar to the Dow Jones, it takes the 30 top companies and creates an index of the value there. They've also done the same thing with the cryptocurrencies. So the top 30 cryptocurrencies right now have an index of 26,344. All-time high is actually formed in 2021. If we zoom back out again, we can see there it is right there. November of 2021 was the last time we touched that all-time high. And you can see that we are now breaking out above this high that we've been basically limited by this whole time since that time. This level here is where we're just leaving. If we zoom back in again, you can see that price point right there. I'm going to maintain that right there. So that crosshair. Actually, I think if I do it this way, there is a way to. There we go. So, oh, and then I got that now going on. There we go. Okay, so this location right here, this price point, if we cross it, if we go across, we can see how that price point has now become a point of support. There's a lot of price action here and is now shooting off of this area. So we can likely see this continue to go up and reach this all-time high here in the coming weeks. I'm thinking that by Christmas time, there are going to be a lot of people who are able to cash out and enjoy some nice Christmas money. And so we expect this to continue to go up. This is already only 20, it's already 20% away. So back down here, we had to go 76%. And since the election, we've closed that gap, and now we've only got 20% left to go, and we're at the all-time highs for cryptos. Let's move on to individual cryptocurrencies. Now I've marked, again, through pattern recognition, we want to see what's going on with Bitcoin. I've marked off the elections. As you can see right there, that's 2024. Here's 2020. And even further back, here's 2016 and 2012. And for every election, after the election occurs, the price has never returned. It just goes up and up and up. Now this one here, it came back down and retraced. Again, this was because Biden was a dipshit. And so there wasn't much faith. There was a lot of negativity towards cryptocurrencies, especially when we had things like FTX crash and people going to prison for stealing money. We know that they didn't go to prison because they were stealing money, because if that was the case, the entire government would be going to jail. They just got caught, and they wanted to make a scene because they want to create some destabilization in the industry so that it calls for more regulation. Now, still though, after that election, the price never came back, and it has now, again, another election shooting out of the gate with incredible strength. Whenever this has happened in the past, it has actually been a good, I marked off these little rectangles here. This here is, I think, only this is a 6-month period of time. In the first 6 months of every election, it just shoots out of the gate. There's the rectangle there. So we're going to see that kind of movement again. It's coming back to the present day. We're just here at the start. We haven't even gone through the first month yet, and already this here is up 41%. This isn't going to stop anytime soon. In fact, this is the start of the AI bubble. I do believe that the AI bubble pop will probably bring us back to these levels, close to it, because it will be significant crash. But our job is to grab this opportunity here where we are right now, forming new highs right now. We want to bring our wealth in at this point here so that we can appreciate the most of the returns that we can from this bubble and then cash out. Again, I'm not attached to cryptos. I think they're just great. They're cool, but they're not the be all and end all. That's coming. Today, we're riding the Bible. The bubble. The Bible. Ethereum. Ethereum actually had a nice little shoot up here in the last little while. There was some concern after this was the great big movement after the election, and then there was some retracement, and there were actually people concerned. I wasn't concerned because I knew this is the kind of thing that happens. There's an impulse, and then there's a retracement before there's the next impulse. It happens all the time. I mean, look, that's what these charts are, just impulses and retracements. So when this occurred, and most of the crypto sphere was saying, oh my goodness, what's wrong, how come things aren't taking off, you know, they kind of said the same thing about Bitcoin in this area. Even though it had just finished giving them incredible returns, they were complaining about it not continuing to go up. Well, that is a good sign. It means that the sentiment is at the point where the exasperation has got people panic buying, which is great because that means we're making money. Because we didn't panic buy, we panic bought, we got lots throughout this year in preparation for today. So, with this new spurt of energy, everybody's excited about Ethereum again, even though it actually hasn't even created a new high yet, nor has it broken out of a long-term trend line that has been going on since March. So Ethereum has a lot more work yet to do. This has been encouraging for a lot of people, and I think that we're going to continue to see more movement going upwards towards the all-time high. Right now, the all-time high is, I think, what is this one? Let's see. That is 4,564. No, 4864, sorry. 4864 for one Ethereum. Between here and there, and it will be here in short order. This will be by Christmas. It will be up 47% to the all-time high and continue from there. There are certain communities that have been a part of these wealth cycles that we've been seeing since 2017. There have been several instances where people are saying that this price could go up to $10,000. Well, $10,000, it's almost triple where we are right now. So this one here has a lot of room to grow, and even just going to the all-time high would give you a 46% return, and again, expected by the end of the year. Let's moving on. ADA. This is one of our favorite coins right now. One of my favorite coins right now, simply because of the work that it does in bringing governance to communities. There's even, in fact, an entire nonprofit that is being contracted by nation states. In fact, 50 of them, 50 nation states are employing consultants from Cardano to help them in forming constitutional conventions for their people so that, are you ready for this? They can fulfill their obligations under contract to help their people safeguard their property. And they're using this to do it. So this is going to end up creating a lot of movement. Right now, sitting at 93 cents US, just shy of 93 cents US rather, just formed a new high for 2024. Prior to that, our high was down here. This was our high, 84 cents. Now, it's up here at 92.8, was it? No, 93.2 cents. This is just the beginning, folks. It is expected that by the end of this cycle, Cardano will be $3, and that's in short order, 3 to 4 months. So imagine tripling your money on something that is being used by nation states to help safeguard their citizens' property. Polygon. This one here, this coin, is a little bit different. It's not meant for what Cardano is meant for. This one is meant for a very specific purpose, and that is to provide funding for the infrastructure for video gaming. And I've got enough data to show how video games are actually going to be leading the way in a lot of the efforts that we have in obtaining freedom. And the reason why is because The parallel to the video game of Canada or the video game of the United States of America, the parallels are actually quite uncanny. And by learning to play games in a simulation, we can show people how to free themselves from the bondage of their nations. Things like Canada and United States, Britain, Ireland, all of these nations are simply countries, and they are managing the accounts of people who are, I shouldn't say managing, but rather they facilitate the accounts that people hold for their local legal tender. Well, that's exactly how games work. In fact, in a game, you join and there's a currency, and you can try to accumulate that currency so that you can advance in the game. By showing people this, the video gaming industry is literally right now taking swaths of people out of the system. And so, as a leader in this, I believe that Polygon is going to end up increasing its price from where it is right now to its all-time high from 2021. That all-time high is priced at $2.93. Now, again, I believe this will occur within the next 4 to 6 months in this bubble. Right now, as you can see here, I've got this colored rectangle. Well, where the beige begins, that's where I purchased. So I made a purchase right here on October 8th, and currently the price is up 22%. But that's not where it's headed. It's coming back to this all-time high through this super cycle. Well, from where we are right now at 44.7 cents to that top all-time high price is a 549% return. So for those who are looking to take advantage of some of the opportunities that are coming as a result of this fourth industrial revolution, this one here is one of the better ones because it's providing infrastructure funds for video games. And the video games are actually helping people free themselves from the tyranny of their nation. It's wild. It's wild. We're in a very, very, it's like the Wild West, technically. Anything goes. What can we use to help people have more freedom? Well, here's another example. Another all-time high being broken with Solana. Solana we've been watching Solana for a while. In fact, you can see we had market analyses back in here where it was under $135. Well, now we're at 254. So we've almost doubled. Solana has almost doubled since we started doing market analyses in the summertime. Forming a brand new high already today. Let's go up to the top there, is at 264. Right now, there's a little bit of a retracement. I would not be surprised if we actually come down and retest this area right here. So the price may come down a little bit more, touching this resistance here, as we've seen in the past. So, yeah, at the same time, though, this asset is projected to be at $500 by the end of the year. If that's the case, and it could very well, because right now at 254, you're almost doubling your money by buying Solana. Now, what is Solana being used for? We talked about Cardano, we talked about Polygon. What's Solana being used for? The primary use for Solana is actually in memes. Meme coins are taking the scene, and especially taking the world by storm at the moment, where people are making 2,400% returns in a matter of weeks by launching memes. And I'll give you an example of one right now. Let's go to CoinMarketCap, and we're going to look up Peanut. If everybody remembers, there was Peanut the squirrel that was assassinated by the United States government after invading someone's home peacefully. After invading a peaceful home, they tracked down their squirrel and murdered him in cold blood. Well, what happened? Let's go out 1 month, because here it was prior to, oh, look at that. I have to go back even further. Do I? No, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother going back further. But it started, I think it was like 29th or 30th of October. And since that time, it was sitting here even after the election. This is the 7th. The price was at 10 cents. And it continued on that way for quite a while. 8 cents, 10 cents, 9 cents right here. And then all of a sudden, on November 11th, the price shot up to 38 cents. And that's just the first few days. It shelved there for a little while, but then it shot up again and peaked out way up here at $2.43. Now, folks, we've seen this type of thing before. I mean, people make money in the stock markets, people make money using penny stocks, people make money doing all kinds of things. But who knew that a meme of a squirrel that was killed by a government would end up increasing that much? How much is this? Let's go to the chart, and then I think I can even measure out, what this is. Can I? Nope. It doesn't let me do a measurement here. But this movement, let's go back to this chart here so we can actually pull it up properly. So there's Peanut the squirrel against Tether. This movement here was the 11th. There it is. And that's only from 10 cents. Never mind, it was lower than that. It was at 8 cents. 2,200% growth in a period of 2 days and 14 hours. I don't know what else to say about that, other than the fact that I got distracted from Solana, which is the backing coin for memes. Isn't this wild? So that's why Solana is expected to double over this next little while. It's because it's backing the liquidity for memes. If you think that's crazy, wait until you see what's actually really going on and the kind of money that's possible to be made when you get into real world assets, things that actually have function. Memes don't have much function other than sharing. You can share it on social media and it provides a good little laugh. That's all it does. And that's providing people, look at Peanut the squirrel. The price is at $1.18 right now, but look at the market cap. Right there. Can I bring that over so I can point at it? The market cap is a little bit small there, but the market cap is $1.18 billion. It's a meme worth $1.18 billion, and you could have made 24 times your money. Put in $100 here and you would have made $2,400 off of that $100. That's the kind of thing that's occurring right now. It's the Wild West. We're in uncharted territory. However, we have patterns that we can follow. Now, another thing that's occurring through this entire wealth cycle is a push within the ecosystem of cryptocurrencies to have interoperability. And so Injective Token is a big component for that. I'm going to go ahead and just go to the daily chart here for the time being. As we can see, this token here has done very well in the past, showing great strength with an all-time high of $53. This coin and the ecosystem that surrounds it is all focused on interoperability. They want to make sure that nobody has, like, the need for using exchanges needs to be taken away. We shouldn't be using exchanges so much. If you take a look at how markets are manipulated, that conduit, that common conduit between all markets, market manipulation, happens at the exchange level. And I can show you. There's one presentation of Anton Krill, who is an ex what was it? J.P. Morgan. Used to trade for J.P. Morgan as an institutional trader. Well, he exposes it in a 2-hour presentation. He exposes the entire industry and shows exactly how these exchanges are manipulating the markets. Well, projects like Injective, Cardano, there's Monero, these different ecosystems are focused on interoperability between the ecosystems, so that if you wanted to pay me, if you've got XRP and you wanted to pay me, but I don't use XRP in my bank, like my trust, so I'm not going to like, why should I have to go and get an XRP wallet just so you can pay me? The purpose of Injective Token and the coins like it is to see that interoperability occur, so that if someone has XRP and they want to send me some Cardano, they just send their XRP, and these Unity tokens, I affectionately call them that, make it where those exchanges aren't necessary. It just goes through smart contracts from one form into another. And boom, the exchange occurs and it's deposited into my ADA wallet. This is the focus for this asset, and I believe that it is going to be one of the main key players in bringing this into fruition. So this all-time high right here at $53, from the point that it's at right now, that's a 120% increase. This should occur between now and the end of the year. That's a great start, but that's not the end. Remember, this bubble has yet another 3 or 4 months after that to go. And there are people saying that this can easily be $200 based on its valuation and where we're headed. So this is a wonderful opportunity. If it goes from this to $200, that's like a 9x. That's pretty good. 3 protocol. Now, of course, within the crypto sphere, especially within the centralized exchange world, you have to submit all of your government identification in order to use their services because they're being regulated. Well, what 3 protocol has done is that they've made it where you can sign up for a credit card, and that credit card can be used as it will be a prepaid, but on the protocol for Visa, you can get a card and load your cryptos onto it and swipe it at the store without submitting your personal identification from the government, which means the money that goes through that account is non-taxable. That's cool. So this project here, I believe, is going to take off, especially as this bubble comes to fruition. All-time high. Let's see what that is. All-time high is right. Is that right? Yeah, it's not that old of a project, but that all-time high is at 46 cents, now sitting at 7.2 cents. What does that turn into? Well, those who are purchasing 3 protocol right now, when it comes back to that all-time high, would appreciate a 532% return. 532% return. That's 5x your money. WooCommerce. I always call it that in my head. It's not that at all. It's just Woo. It's a trading platform that provides more peer-to-peer interaction. So you're not just going to an exchange to give your money to them and then they process a transaction for the trade. No, this is actually a platform where it's like, hey, I've got this coin. Is anybody interested in buying it? Here's my price. This still market at market prices, but instead of using exchanges, people are going to be interacting these trades directly peer-to-peer from wallet to wallet. That's powerful. So WooCommerce, I did it again. Woo is, right now finding support, looks like. We can see that in the past, this area has provided some support and resistance. And so this area of interest, after reaching this part of this point in the trend line, this retracement here is bouncing now right inside that area and likely to continue its movement up, especially having this strong channel and this deep retracement. This is a good encouraging sign. When this retracement came to and then shot out of the gate like that, that's a good sign. We're going to see a lot of that kind of thing happening. Here's BitTensor. This one here is a major infrastructure project for AI and AI storage. One of the things that I'm watching for is in every, pin. Gold rush. Let's talk about the gold rush for a second. Back in the day when there was the gold rush, there were people who were, making a stake, taking a stick, putting it in the ground, and this is my spot. I'm mining for gold here, and then they would get to work. The amount of people that actually made money was fairly small. In fact, it was estimated to be under 1%. That the rest of the people who were mining, they actually didn't make that much money. They either broke even or they failed because, they didn't find the vein of gold on that stake. Well, in the gold rush, the people that actually made the most money were the small local merchants when they were selling pickaxes and shovels and pans and the equipment necessary for the gold mining. That's who made the most money. Well, NVIDIA, last year, I think it was probably midsummer of last year, 2023, they announced to the world, they said, hey, we're building all these AI chips and you guys are welcome to buy as many as you want. However, we are moving our business into AI storage. And as a result, they have now become the largest well, they keep on alternating between Apple and NVIDIA, the two biggest companies in the world. And NVIDIA was not a huge company before that. It was big because it made chips and made video cards for computers. But then they got into AI storage, and that's what sent them off into the bull run that they're in right now. Why? Because when you're selling the tools for a gold rush, you will always make more money than the people who are just partaking in the gold rush. All right, comparatively speaking, AI is a bubble. It is going to collapse. It's going to crash. And in fact, it's likely to drop by 90% after the bubble goes up. I'm not scared because I'm going to be selling before it pops. And I'm also making sure that the assets that I am placing money are in assets like BitTensor. Now, I'm not bought into BitTensor, and the reason why is because I actually feel like I have a longer play at hand. But I'll talk about BitTensor for a second because they are providing the tools for people to use AIs, and their primary customers are big tech. So you got Google, Facebook, all of them. They are the ones who are BitTensor's clients. So BitTensor is providing AI infrastructure for the big tech companies. So very, very positive for people that want to make some money off of this asset. Right now, it sits under $490 specifically at $488.68. This asset here is expected to overtake Ethereum, and Ethereum is expected to go to 5,000. So let's say, for instance, BitTensor only goes to $5,000 per coin. That's a 10x from where we are right now. Very healthy returns. Now, again, I'm not invested in BitTensor. I simply bring that chart up because it's going to help us see it's like your weatherman. You get to see what the weather is like out there in AI when you take a look at some of these big projects. Another one is Fetch AI. This one here is, what's it called? There's a longer name for it. I can't remember. I'll get to that. But this asset here is also a major infrastructure for AI. And this is a more generic one. So it's not for big tech. This one here is actually wanting to target the mid-sized companies to small businesses that are wanting to get started. And so this one here this is the daily chart. We can see that as time has gone on over the past little while, that it has actually not been like a meme where it just pumps and then dumps. This one here, very much a consistent growth over time, forming new highs at a regular interval. And when it does retrace, it comes back to find support at areas where there's been resistance in the past. And so this here has provided great support for the last few impulses on this asset. Right now, with an all-time high of $3.51, right now is a great time to buy because even just coming back to this all-time high, which I believe will be hit by the end of the year, that's 185% growth on Fetch. Now this one here is my favorite. This is where I have the vast majority of, I think actually Desync is the asset that I have the largest allocation of everything that I'm trading. And the reason why is because of its commitment to providing the tools for AI, not just AI. They have AI as well because it's helping them in building their infrastructure. Coding, for example, computer programmers that are paid $250,000 a year are being laid off right now. The industry is completely being disrupted. This bubble is going to traumatize a lot of people, and specifically people who can be replaced because AI works a lot better at these computers than we do. Faster, more efficient, more accurate, all the rest. And so computer programmers are actually going to be made obsolete. And imagine that. The guys that have been making some of the most money over the last 40 years are going to get laid off because of their work. They've worked themselves out of a job. So this movement here that we experienced, after the election, this is great, encouraging. As we can see, it's higher than the previous high. Now I've got a bunch of rectangles in here. You can see those tan, that beige color. Those are all the different positions that I've added as time has gone on. The darker the color, the lighter the color, the less opaque it gets, the more money that I've put in. My first trade was back in the middle of June, and then I made another one here. This was at the beginning of September. I added a lot more at this point, and then I added even more again at a lower price point here at the this was at the beginning of October. So why do I talk about this? This one in particular. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging. This asset has a wide range of price. And what I wanted to do, and this is what I said at the get-go. Look at how much data I had to go by when I got started. Very little. But I knew what this company was about. I knew about the community that it had started, and I knew about the potential that it had, especially in my industry of website design for small businesses. So this position, when it went down, I didn't panic. In fact, I bought, and immediately the price went down by 48% within a matter of days. What was that? Yep, matter of 20 days. Dropped 46%. But I was not discouraged. In fact, I knew that this was a long game, that this was going to be something that I was in for a long time. Well, the price went up. And it was fun to go and log in and see, oh, there you go. Now my purchase over 55 days went up 82%. That's great. But then it went back down again. Well, when it went back down the second time, I was like, ooh, let's watch for an entry. And as that price came down, sure enough, it bounced off of the bottom. You can see here, it bounced off of the bottom of this consolidation zone right there. After it bounced off of that, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And I bought right there. I added more volume this trade. So I lowered my average cost per coin. I had a bunch of coins over here, right? And I bought at about 18 cents. And then I bought again, but this time I bought a larger amount at 14 cents. So now my average cost for both of these is lower than the first one. Then I did it again because why? We had this price come up and it didn't beat out the previous high, so I knew, because this high didn't beat out the previous high way over here, I knew that this was going to go lower. So I waited. And sure enough, it went lower, and it even went below this area of consolidation, or this pivot zone rather. It dips down super low, and that's when I was like, immediately the next day, I was like, I'm buying again. And I bought here at 14 cents, even lower than I had before at, well, it was 15 cents. So I lowered my average cost per coin even more because this one here, I think I put in twice as much as I had up until that time. I'd have to look at the numbers. But now my position is great. I'm sitting now at an average price of 15.5 cents US. And across this time, now we sit at, well, let's extend this out. Extend this out because it'll tell us exactly how much I'm making. So as it sits right now, my average price is 15.5. There it is. So as it sits right now, Since I started, I'm up 79% across across my entire position. And folks, this is only the beginning. This is supposed to be $1 by the end of the year. And then we still have 4 more months of bubble left. There are people that I'm following that are actually working on this project as a contractor. And they are saying that their expectation, the team is actually expecting a conservative 20x out of this asset. 20x. Well, when you think about it, it's actually not that difficult to do. If they're saying, like right now, here's where we are. Well, we're considerably higher than we were at 15 cents. So let's just grab that location there, and we go up. There's 20. That's only $3.20. That's 20x right there. From here to there. From where we are right now, 20x is only $5.06 or $5.60. So this is a very real possibility, especially when you can see things like BitTensor are sitting before the bubble at $500. Desync is right now, much smaller company, smaller infrastructure, but providing the tools to the small companies instead of, BitTensor just targeting the big tech companies with billions and billions and billions of dollars of budget. In fact, did you know that there are two big numbers? We talked about this, I think, earlier this week. There are two big numbers that we need to be paying attention to. The first one is $4.4 billion. That's how much money OpenAI, Microsoft, ChatGPT, that's how much money Microsoft lost in Q3 of 2024. $4.4 billion. That's a lot of money to lose. But here's the bigger number. $250 billion. $250 billion. That's how much everybody has spent on AI. P.S. Without return. Why is that? Because AI is actually failing to provide people with the promises that were made. It is being overpromised and underdelivered. And the reason for it is because we've actually started to receive, in 2024, we actually started to receive diminishing returns on the investments made in computing. This has never happened before. Usually we're doubling the rate of computing every 18 months. That's been the rule. Double the computing power that we have available to us every 18 months. But that's not happening anymore. We're actually seeing a diminishing return. AI, for it to accomplish everything that people have been promising it can do, in order for AI to do that, we have to build new computer chips. And in fact, if you study what's happening, I really need to prepare a presentation for this so that people can see where I'm getting my information. But computer chip manufacturing companies, especially in Taiwan, they are actually renovating their entire facilities because the process to build chips has to change, because the old processes are with the old materials that have now reached their limit and their capacity. They are now building computer chips with crystal. And the reason why is because using light and crystal, they're able to process in 10 million times more information at the same time than they can with traditional chips. And so these chip manufacturing companies, they have to rebuild everything. And for the last 2 years, they've actually been taking apart old setups. And they are now building new setups that are probably not going to be done for another 2 to 3 years. So it's going to be 2 or 3 years before there's a chip that can actually do what AI has been promised it's capable of doing. So what's going on? This $250 billion that has been spent already that has not had a return, there's another number that I need to share with you, and that's, again, it's another $250 billion is what they plan on spending before the summer of 2025. Another $250 billion is what's expected to pour into AI. It's going to create a bubble, and what's going to happen is that those big companies, they're going to make their money back because they're selling everybody on becoming a customer. And people are going to flock towards this. It's going to get to the point over the next, it's going to be wild. This is going to be a wild ride, folks, over the next 4 to 6 months. Everybody will be signing up for an AI because they're going to be told, they're going to be sold on the idea that it's going to make their lives easier, and they're going to find out that it doesn't. And it's going to pop. But before it pops, and everybody who comes in late loses their money, the big corporations that want their money back, they're going to get it. It's expected that over the next 5 to 6 months, over $5 trillion are going to be flooded into the AI markets. And that's going to be just normal folks who are just getting excited and wanting to be a part of this great thing that's making all kinds of people all kinds of money. Just like what happened with the dot-com boom. Just like what happened with the stock market boom that happened in the 20s. It happens every time. People are creatures of habit, and it's wonderful. Once you can see what those habits are, you can actually plan for them and profit from them. And that's what we're doing here. We are riding this bubble to the top, and we're going to sell once everybody is absolutely crazy and the taxi drivers are asking you which AI coin you use. That's when it's time to sell. And that's when we're going to be cashing out and turning that asset into the next emerging market so that we can do it again. Because this bubble here that, say for instance, we have assets that 20x, well, they're going to be assets that 20x again after this. And I'm going to be taking all of the money that we get from this and putting it into those next emerging assets so that we can 20x again, probably in 2025. What's 20 times 20? 400. Okay, 0x0, another great project. This one here is an AI, but it is specifically focused on creating private AIs so that it's secured behind blockchain, meaning that your data is encrypted behind smart contracts that are protected by your key. So when you create a wallet with 0x0, you will receive a key. That key is your access. No one can access your data without that key, and it's a physical key. It's not some digital key. It's actually a physical key that allows you to privatize your data that you generate using AI. This is another example of where I've done some heavy dollar cost averaging. The first purchase that I made for 0x0, this was back in the middle of June. The price went down, and it came down here, and I saw it after it bounced off of this level here, which was a deep retracement, even below this point here. After I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Waited a couple of days. I think it was probably just liquidity that I needed. And then I purchased, what is this? I think the beginning of September. Double check. Yep, September 7th. I actually tripled my purchase over from what I did over here. So my dollar cost average on this asset here is around 14 cents. We're sitting right now at 12 cents. This is a great opportunity for people that are still looking to get to be a part of it. This one here is actually in a better position than DeSync. See, DeSync is actually quite high at the moment. And so this opportunity, not that it's not a good opportunity, but that you may experience more gains with 0x0 simply because it has a lot further to go to reach that all-time high than DeSync. But folks, it makes sense. 0x0 is an AI. It's not an infrastructure coin. It's a great coin for AI and privatizing your data, no question about that. But it's not the tools. It's not the pickaxes and shovels. Still, 339% return coming back to the all-time high, whereas with DeSync, to get to the all-time high, the returns would only be 38%. And that's just because DeSync is more the shovels and the pickaxes and the tools for AI to function, and 0x0 is actually an AI geared towards privacy. So this one here, I believe, speculation, I believe this one here will actually increase in price a lot faster with more velocity than desync. I think desync is going to end up being more steady in growth across the 6 months, whereas 0x0 we're going to see a big push over the next month and a half to 2 months, where this this growth is going to be realized likely by the end of the year. 359%. Arc, another great project that actually had a very similar price pattern to 0x0, but has actually broken out. It seems to be leading the way ahead of what 0x0 is at. And who knows why? Could be just the way that it looks on CoinMarketCap, or it just might be the way that their marketing is. Either way, they've done very well. I've got a couple positions here as well. Right now, in fact, I'm up 187% since, what is this? Yeah, middle of October, and that's the beginning, end of September. But I know that that's not my average cost. If I remember correctly, I positioned this so that my average cost was actually at the top of this consolidation zone. And so that would give me 160-ish, 160% returns right now. Definitely nice retracement here. It's in position to make the next movement up towards the all-time high. May see some more resistance at the 8.5 cent level right here, because it has provided that resistance in the past. But here we go. This one here, anything that's under $1 is on sale for ARC. ARC is a great project. Link AI. This one here, I don't have money in this one just because I feel like I've got enough AI coins at the moment. But again, I'd like to check out the temperature, the weather, so to speak. So here we have this trend line just got bounced off of, so it's at a very good point, even at a low price right now at 13 cents. The all-time high is set for, what is that, 29? Yeah, 30 cents. That's 119% growth, and then from there, it is expected to reach $1 by the end of the year. DEAI. This one here is great, a little bit of a shorter term project. We don't have a whole lot of data, but we can see that it's got some great strength. Even after its opening, came back down. Great place for the founders to reestablish their positions and build support off of that 14.5 cent line. Now up at 65 cents. This is expected to be at $5. WorldCoin. This one here is great. This community is absolutely fantastic, providing infrastructure for AI and gaming. This one here is, we just added this position here on the 19th of November. Expected returns, bringing us back to the all-time high, is 412%. And right now we can see that this support here off of this line, which provided support in the past, is likely never to be seen again. Now, if there is a retracement and it comes down below this, I will be rebuying. I will be adding to my position and lowering the average cost per coin so that I can appreciate more returns coming back up to the all-time high. PAL. This one here, I am ready to pull the plug if necessary. Right now, as it was prior to, very encouraging project. And then we had this big dump. It crashed on its own, out of nowhere. It dropped, I think this was 70% in a matter of hours. And what I did was, after that, I went ahead and purchased at 13 cents. Since that time, it has basically been fluctuating up and down. Now, it is expected that if this project can live, it will continue to go up to $1. There's still lots of money in it. There's still lots of investment. There's still lots of interest. But something happened, and I'm not sure what. But there has been a shake of confidence in this particular project. And so now, for myself, even though I have a position here and I'm in profit, I am considering closing this trade and taking this asset somewhere else. If PAL and that community can't seem to garner back a lot of their lost followers or regain new ones to add to their community, from what I gather, it looked like there was a division in how the company would proceed, and the two executives, they disagreed. That's from what I can tell so far. As more time goes on, we get better data. But so that is why I'm ready at a trigger's notice to sell this asset and turn it into something else. I will likely move this asset into FAR, which is the next one. This one here is very encouraging. Long-term coin for gaming and utilizing AI, and this is why the gaming industry is going to be experiencing the bubble a little bit from a little bit of a delay from the rest of the AI bubble. And the reason why is because the AI needs to come in first so that the programmers of the games can start utilizing this in the creation of their games. And this is something that it would be worth it for people to go and check out on YouTube. Go and look at. Go and just do a quick search for what do we want to look for? Yeah, this guy here. He talks about 100x coming out of the AI coins or out of the altcoins. But here, search Unreal Engine and you'll see, yeah, here's their channel. This is a computer graphics generation. And now with AI being able to create these environments, computer programmers are not having to spend so much time programming the environment for games. And so with AI alleviating that, and that basically makes these game manufacturers, these game producers, developers, makes them not need so many programmers. And those programmers are now learning how to prompt AI to develop these environments. And the environments are wild, like how lifelike and realistic they're becoming. Just take a look at, this is Unreal 5. I'm going to go ahead and just move it forward, mute that. Let's go look for some footage here where it's, yeah, this guy's just demonstrating what's capable of being done. I would like to see, maybe this isn't the video for it. I'd like to see some of their real, oh yeah, here we go. This is a great video. This is showing the lighting technology that's available. So if we go into this here, you can see just the graphics here, how well the lighting is getting and how fast the computers are able to calculate all of the lighting. This has been the most horrendous work for programmers, is programming all the lighting, because you can have so many different light sources, you've got different angles of shadows, all this stuff in order to make it look lifelike. That's the trick, lighting. Well, now with Unreal Engine combined with AI, what's happening is that this avatar right here enters the game and looks around, and it's AI developing and generating the environment in real time. So now the programmers do not have to program the environment before releasing the game. It's expected that they'll be saving 80% on their development. This is why I know, like, I want us to get away from tech. I want us to get away from it. So I'm utilizing this bubble to help me get away from tech. People can go ahead and play video games all they want. I like to play video games every once in a while, but I'm not a gamer. I'm just going to make a bunch of money off of the people that are flocking towards this side of technology, because we're going to be seeing more and more and more of this. So this is the bubble. This is grabbing the opportunities that constitute this wealth transfer that we're currently experiencing. Remember, there's no such thing as a recession. The money simply goes from one form into the other. And right now, it's going digital. So FAR is a coin specifically for infrastructure for gaming, similar to what we saw with Polygon. But this one here is specific for a genre of games. And so this one here, its all-time high is at a 23%, 2,300% growth. So from where I purchased back on October 8th at 8.6, sorry, not 8.6 cents, 0.86 of 1 cent. So this is incredible amounts of gain. For it to come back to 20 cents, we would see a 2,300% return. Gala, another gaming / AI coin. This one here is actually showing greater strength than FAR at the moment, with a rise since the election of 61%, with a new high that's higher than the previous high. This one is likely going to see gains in the short term. There will likely be some resistance in this area here, simply because you can see there's a lot of price action around that level in here. So there'll be likely a bounce coming from here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and draw a little line. So we'll likely see it come up, bounce off of this level, and retest this high here before heading up to the next level. Okay, so this is likely the type of thing that we'll see occur over this next 2-3 weeks, and expected to reach its all-time high here. Oops. This all-time high. Oh, I didn't put the... Let's mark that and bring it. There we go. Okay, so now I got the all-time high marked. This all-time high is supposed to be reached by March. So a 23x on your money between now and March, that's nothing to shake a stick at. IMX, another AI gaming coin. I'm not in this one. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Right now it's hovering at $1.35. I would expect this to jump up, find some resistance around the $2 level, and then again on this trend line right there. So between this point here and this point, I do expect another retracement before it reaches there. Once it breaks out past this, it'll have no problem reaching the all-time high and then continue on upwards from there. Super, this is Superverse. This is another gaming community. This one here, fantastic, engaging community. Sitting at $1.21 right now. It's doing very well. In fact, you can see how well it's doing. Since October of 2023, it is up 1,400%. This one here, I was a little bit late in discovering this community, but I've gone ahead and started a position here, and I will be dollar cost averaging if it goes down. I would say, because this is gaming, we're going to see the AI coins really take a spurt first. They're going to make that run initially. While that's occurring, we may see some liquidity drop out of gaming in order for the the people who are investing in AI to get their returns. So this may come down and retest this level here, where we can see there was some price action. So this may very well come back down to retest this area. Again, I would like to see that. And so I'll be dollar cost averaging my purchases until this point here, and then riding that upwards. I'm going to go through some meme coins now. This is Sundog. I purchased way up here when I was really excited. Dumb move. Don't ever do this. I bought when people were talking about it, right? So I bought it at a high price. I've lost a lot of money on this one, but it put much in there. So you never put more money into anything than you're willing to lose. If you're going to lose sleep at night putting money in here, you have no business putting your money in here. This is definitely higher risk. So this one here, I've got just gonna be patient with this one. Same thing with Bonk. However, Bonk actually is winning. So this purchase that I made here, there's the same size of a purchase that I made with Sundog, and right now that is up 97%. I've almost doubled. In fact, at one point I had when it created that new all-time high. This is again just a meme. It's a meme of a dog being bonked on the head with a 2x4. No idea. Don't ask questions. Just run with it. Non-playable coin. This is the NPC. This one here definitely likely has the largest and most active community amongst all of the meme coins. I have 2 positions on this one. First one purchased back in July, at the beginning of July, and the second one where I purchased a little bit more just because I was realizing, oh no, this thing is not just any other meme. They've actually got some meat to this project where they're doing some pretty cool things. People can actually create their own NPC character to make fun of the non-playable characters in a game. In a video game, non-playable characters are just the computer programmed persona that doesn't have anything to do in the game other than just regurgitate its program. Well, that's what happens with people too. We call them NPCs, the non-playable characters. You can't talk to them. You can't really interact with them. They're just repeating the same program that they've been taught since their inception. And so they are what we call an NPC. And that gaming terminology got turned into a coin, and now people all over the world make fun of the normies with this coin. And that's what they're doing. They're making money doing that. How much is it? NPC. It's not as big as Peanut. But sitting at $297 million market cap with a full dilated volume of 326. This thing has got a good saturation, and it's in position. It's in a great position to continue creating new highs. I'm not too concerned about this being $1. Like $1 is probably where it's headed, and that's great because I purchased my average price. I don't know. I'd have to look at it, but my average price is probably around. Or no, wait. I can't remember if I took 2 positions or not. I marked a second position, but I don't remember why. Anyway, it's fun. They're memes. ADA taking off though today, eh? Look at that. Great movement today. Up 11%. That's it for the analysis. If you have any other assets you want me to check out, even if it's not crypto, you want me to check out some stocks, you want me to check out some other real world assets, you want me to check out other metals, oil, another index rather, you let me know. Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like some help getting set up, feel free to reach out to me. You can actually contact me and schedule an appointment where we can hang out and get some work done together. You can connect with me here, manknownespaul.com/connect. There is a place on this site here. You can go ahead and book an appointment with me, and it'll block it off in my calendar, and we can meet up online and get your work done. Get you set up to catch as many opportunities as you can as this wealth transfer occurs. So thank you so much again for everybody tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, but for those of you who are tuned into the studio, stick around, because after I end the stream here, this continues on, and we have some private conversation about anything that anybody needs as a part of this community. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.